welcome to Straight Bat, my weekly blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. But this is a straight bat blog with a difference, and in a moment you'll realize why. Now, I like to think that I am a 70s kid, someone who grew up in the decade of the 70s, the decade of Indira Gandhi and the emergency, or dare I say, of unbridled state power and indeed of economic scarcity. We didn't have 24/7 breaking news in the 1970s. It was the age of black and white TV and Doordarshan, Chaya Geet on Thursdays, Phool Khile Hai Gulshan Gulshan with the ever-smiling Tabassum on Fridays, and of course, an old Hindi movie to look forward to on a Sunday. Life, in a sense, was, dare I say, a little calmer, or maybe just our urban middle class ambitions were slightly tapered down and our needs were markedly fewer. We played hand cricket, hide and seek, 7 tiles, and enjoyed ourselves without having to worry about social media or Netflix or indeed even a computer. We used red and black colored HB pencils, sharpeners in school, read Enid Blyton and Archie comics, booked trunk calls to ring up a distant relative and wish them a happy birthday, and went on holidays to hill stations like Mathiran and Mahabaleshwar. But there were 2 other rituals that we practiced. One, we always went to watch the latest Amitabh Bachchan movie. At least in my case, I did. And we went to watch Sunil Gavaskar bat for hours on end. Bachchan and Gavaskar were our 2 middle-class icons in a way, one who was shining on the screen and the other who was blazing a trail on the cricket field. They were the tall and short men in our lives in a way, the Lambu and the Little Master, as we called them. Bachchan started his career in the 60s but really came to life with Zanjeer in 1973. And Gavaskar came rather more dramatically into our lives in 1971. And which is why this blog is a tribute to Sunil Gavaskar, because this weekend marks 50 years since Gavaskar's sensational debut series in the West Indies, a series when he broke all records by scoring 774 runs. It was a remarkable year for Indian cricket. We beat the mighty West Indies in the West Indies and then went on to beat the then best side in the world, England, in England. 1971, that's right. I was in class 1, I remember, in those days. Well, Gavaskar then went on and on to one success after the other, eventually becoming the first batsman to score 10,000 runs and, of course, break Don Bradman's record of 29 Test centuries. What he did, I think, was crucial on and off the field. On the field, as an opening batsman, he was the one who showed that Indian batsmen could play fast bowling, because until then, the traditional stereotype of Indian batsmen were that they would run away from bouncers and true pace bowling. Gavaskar, in that sense, brought a certain self-respect to Indian cricket and a self-belief. His batting, in a sense, was much like the frugal times in which we lived. He worked hard and diligently for every run, never gave his wicket away, never gave an inch. He was a master class in defensive batting, but also could be the complete all-round batsman, as he proved in 1979 in Oval when he scored a double century, which to my mind was one of the greatest innings that I have ever seen. But I think Gavaskar's impact was not just limited to what he did on the field, but also off it. He gave a professional edge in a way to Indian cricket, because remember, until then, Indian cricketers were not really valued. A test cricketer in the 60s earned rupees 250 a test match. A Ranji Trophy player only earned rupees 10 a match. There were no IPL Karodpatis in those days. It was Gavaskar, along with the likes of Bishan Singh Bedi, who fought for players' rights, said, why can't players be paid more? Why can't our wives travel with us on long tours? And thereby, in a sense, brought a sense of equality in the relationship that existed between players and the administrators. Post-retirement, Well, Gavaskar has made the smooth transition to the commentary box, where he is today a familiar and durable presence. His favorite sparring partners remain the English and the Australians, the Goras, who once ran the game. Gavaskar, in that sense, still evokes a sense of nationalistic pride as he did for us in the 1970s. Then he stood up to the fast bowlers, and today he stands up in a way to the colonial powers who dominated the sport for decades. But as the balance of power shifted from west to east, I have a small complaint. The Gavaskar who defied the fast bowlers, the Gavaskar who challenged cricket's sort of top administrators, the grandees who ran the sport, the anti-establishment hero, is now less likely to be critical of the men who run the sport in a sense. Maybe age has mellowed him. Maybe a BCCI commentator contract means that Gavaskar can't be as critical as he might like to be of some of the things that happen in Indian cricket. But I wish Gavaskar at times spoke out more strongly, maybe on match fixing or pitch fixing, or indeed stadiums being named after politicians. But let me also say why I truly admire Gavaskar. It isn't just what he's done for Indian cricket on and off the field. To my mind, Gavaskar showed his real mettle in an incident that took place after the 1993 blast in Mumbai. A mob had cornered a Muslim family near Gavaskar's home in Worli. Remember, this is against the backdrop of the post-Ayodhya riots as well. Aghast at what was unfolding in front of him, Gavaskar rushed down from his building and gave the family protection by daring the mob to touch them. It was, to my mind, an act of true courage, perhaps even greater than the many innings that he had played for India. It was a genuine example, to my mind, of sunny days in times of darkness. A legend beyond the boundary. As a postscript, there is an early Gavaskar story which in a sense tangles with that of my late father, Dilip Sardesai. Like Gavaskar, my father too was one of the heroes of that 1971 cricket war. In sunny days, Gavaskar tells the story of how my father, who had just become the first Indian to hit a double century against the West Indies, predicted that the young man who was sitting with him would follow suit. In fact, in the middle of a meal, my father got really angry and apparently picked up a fight with someone who was dismissive of India's fragile batting then. Later in life, my father would tell me, I have seen many Indian batsmen play, but there is only one Sunil. He is the ultimate Khadus batsman. Now, for many of you who don't know what the word Khadus means, well, it's a uniquely Mumbaikar term that typifies grit and determination on the cricket crease. 50 years later, Gavaskar remains in a sense the enduring symbol of Mumbai's art of Khadus batsmanship. And yes, once Mr. Gavaskar gets to a 50, he rarely misses out on a ton. So today's straight bat is in honor of, in a sense, a person who's batted through most of his life with a straight bat. Go well, Mr. Gavaskar, and thank you for the memories from that magical decade of the 1970s. Well, that's it on this straight bat blog. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll have many more video blogs in the weeks ahead. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.